Thank you, babes. I showered for you. That's why. I literally created a shower today just for this. That's
that is awesome. And we're live hearing about Marci's shower.
And I showered for you all. It's because most of the time I exist in workout clothes because I can. I'm a fitness expert, so I get away with it. And I'm like, I only shower when I'm going on TV.
And you're looking gorgeous too, by the way. And welcome to KRAD TV. It's Kirsten Roberts, the Radical Life Mentor. I'm so stoked to be here with a very rocking, gorgeous, fantastic goddess who's a friend of mine, but also my mentor. And I am so pumped to have her on the show. So, Marci Locke, welcome. Woo!
Thanks, babes. Woo, woo. Do we get a like? I'm like, oh, wait. Let me show my shirt. Committed to awesomeness.
Exactly.
My new clothing line is coming out next week, Kirsten, and it was inspired by you.
Exactly. Right? We love the fluoro colors. We love the fluoro. Awesome. Marci is just somebody I've been following her for a while because of her awesomeness, basically. All about, a brilliant life, radical life, and unlocking the shit in your head to create awesomeness across every part of your life, which a lot of us sometimes can't get our heads around. So that's why I'm so stoked for you to get to hear all about her awesomeness and like tell us all about you before we get into it.
First, I think there should be a game here. You ready? Yeah. How many times, Kirsten, can we say awesomeness? But you have to say it. Every time you say awesomeness, you get to say it like that.
Okay.
Awesomeness. Or we get to see how cool we can say it. I just figured we've already said it like 10 times. So I'm like, how many times are we going to say awesomeness? Cool. So what was the question? I got distracted. It was like squirrel. Oh. I live a radical life. I live a radical life, and so it's just all fun and happiness.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us about the awesomeness of Marci Locke. Tell us about you, because I know you so well, but let's all the people who don't know you, tell us about you.
Yes. Okay. So my life is pure awesomeness. It is my belief system. So what my passion and message, awesomeness, what my passion and message really comes down to is that I live in a space where if everything in your life is not awesomeness, is not fucking fantastical, as I like to say, there's an inner belief system or gap inside you as to why that's your creation. Because everything that you're manifesting is coming from what you're vibrating and what you believe and what you deserve. Everything in your external world is definitely coming from your internal world. So for me, I believe that a rockin' body of health is effortless for the rest of my life. I believe that relationships get to be epic and phenomenal and passionate and amazing. I believe that, money is like breathing air. And that's a big stretch coming from someone who was raised on a farm and we had to grow our own food to survive. And I couldn't, borrow $1 from my parents. It's like, that's my belief system now. And my spiritual alignment connection just allows me to be inspired to create, like, everything in my life is 100% capacity and power. If you're not experiencing that, it's something inside you. So yes, Kirsten, I have the pleasure, my babes, of like my peeps, my personal clients. I don't even like to call them clients because they're my family. I only attract the badasses of the badasses around the world. So hence Kirsten is one of my personal family peeps that gets to be in my space. Check it. Right. And so, yeah, that's right. But between my personal peeps, I also get to run my Mind Body Breakthrough Masterminds and work with people all around the world. I've got everything from a Goddess Revolution Experience Retreat to my Badass Breakthrough Experience Adventures, which is about badasses, not just stopping at 80% thriving. Like, oh, well, my business is doing awesome, so it's okay that I'm 20 pounds overweight, or it's okay that, my relationships are settled, because you believe that life is just good or great instead of amazing and fucking fantastical. So that, and Kirsten, my badass clothing line is coming out next week. I'm just launching a whole new series with my TV show and my radio show and products on YouTube. And so just lots of fun stuff. Just pure awesomeness. That's me.
So cool. And I think so many people think that they can't have a full life across everything. They feel like if they've got a good career, they've got to sacrifice their body because they can't do all the training. Or if they've got awesome relationships, then they're happy with that and perhaps their career isn't going where they want to, which is utter bullshit, basically. Life can be awesome across all realms of their life. And that's what you really teach people, isn't it? And draw out of them and get them to tap into what's holding them back from that across everything in life.
Yeah, it's all just perceptions. It's all just belief systems. It's all just what's going on inside. So it's interesting because a lot of people will come to me for the body, being where, you know, I'm a fitness nutrition expert. They'll like, oh yeah, if I could just have the body, then I'll be happy. Then I'll go show up in live. Then I'll step forward. Just like the same story we tell ourselves in our business. Oh, if I get more knowledge or I get this training. So ultimately what I feel like coming through right now and what I'd love to share is the reality and the truth is that I love it the way that Einstein says it best. Okay. No problem can ever be solved from the same state in which it was created. No problem can ever be solved from the same state in which it was created. So let's think about this. If at the core, from the time I'm little, and I'll give you guys an example, Kirsten, you've heard me use this example, but it just rings true for so many people because it's something that we all do. I have one of my personal family peeps that I get to coach that was having some deep pain one day in her business. And I broke down into where it came from. And at 2 years old, she peed on the floor, potty training. And from what her dad said, in the moment, she made a decision about herself. And the decision was, I must be fundamentally flawed. I can't trust my own body. I can't, and which became, I can't trust myself. Whoops, there's my looping in reminder, Kirsten.
We'll tell everybody about that later.
Yeah. So she took this decision, and how this showed up in her whole life is that I can't trust myself. I can't trust myself in relationships and business and all these things. Hence, that was her creation from peeing on the floor at 2. Now, do we all pee on the floor at 2? Yes, we do. We all pee on the floor at 2 years old when we're learning to potty train. So the cool thing to look at is that we've created our worlds. We've created everything, you know, that we're experiencing. And so if from the root, going back to what Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same state in which it was created. If at the root she believes, I'm fundamentally flawed, something's wrong with me, I don't trust myself, I'm not good enough, then it doesn't matter how many business strategies we try, how many trainings we go to, how many things that we do on the surface, how many diet pills or programs or anything we do up here, because it's all surface bullshit. It's not the problem. The problem is what's going on inside you. The problem is what's at the root. So think about it as trying to create this alignment to manifest. People are always like, how the hell do you manifest the way that you do? Kirsten was just laughing at me that I was like, what's that thing called on the top of the screen, blah, blah, and she's like, landing page? I was like, yeah, that's it. Because literally the reason I manifest to the power that I do effortlessly is because my inner game is clear. And because I know the truth that I'm a divine daughter of God, I'm a limitless creator, I'm infinite possibilities. And knowing that truth, I cannot accept anything but abundance and awesomeness in every aspect of my life. It would be out of alignment to who I really am. So the reason you can't manifest is you're doing something on the surface up here, and at your core, your root beliefs over here says, I'm not deserving and worthy. So it's like, it never comes together. And then people are like, I don't know why I can't manifest. I got all the amazing people. I got business partners. I've got ideas. I've got this, but I just seem to keep surviving. So really, we get to shift it at the core so that what you're vibrating out is, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, and then the actions align to it and you get to manifest it.
And it's so interesting that we're not aware we have these beliefs. Like, a great friend of mine is going through some shit at the moment. She's actually the smartest chick I know, and in quite a high-powered position. And she's just assessing, where she wants to go in life, and her view of what she can achieve and what she's capable of and the balance she's capable of is over here, whereas I can see it as over there. And she's like, but I'm self-aware. I'm pretty self-aware when I'm making those decisions. That's because she's got this frame of reference right now. And that frame of reference, we're not aware that it's causing us to make decisions like this. And the way we get to know is if there's something we can explore or change it and that sort of stuff is, where are we viewing there is settle? Where do we view we have to sacrifice? Or where are we viewing resistance?
So what if, I have a question for you. What if there was no thought even that existed that there was settle or sacrifice or wrong or right? That's really what we get to go to, is because you're right. She's got a parameter in her mind that it has to look a certain way, which most of us do in perfectionist identity. It says, it's only successful and it's only good enough if it looks this way, and I know how I'm going to get there, and so I won't go after it unless I know how. So her frame of reference says that. But if we never even took on these beliefs and thoughts and these parameters and these boxes that we put ourselves in, we literally would just be.
Yep.
Can you imagine a person being in a space where it's just like every experience you have, there's no wrong or right or good or bad. It just is. And from that you go, feedback. I have a painful feeling from that. That didn't feel very fun. I feel anxiousness. I feel fear. I feel sadness. Interesting. Why is that? And how do I shift whatever I did to create greater? But there's no, oh, that sucked. You're wrong. You're bad. So it's taking away that question altogether. Where would we really be if we didn't have these thoughts, if we didn't have these beliefs, if we didn't have these behavioral patterns that we go into? So today, you know, because you've experienced my Mind Body Breakthrough Mastermind, you're just finishing in your group. I just got done with a group, and one of my girls over in Australia, like you, I believe she's in Australia. I got people all over the world, was talking about how she had created a validation story for that weekend. She had friends coming into town, and how basically her actions on the surface were like, fuck it. I'm dropping everything that I'm going to do that's going to support my life and be the creation that I want because I have family in town, and how she had talked herself into it, creating a validation to see it as like, oh yeah, it's okay because of this. And these are and once we broke it down, she's like, I didn't even see that that's what I was doing. I just thought, you know, it's like we've created these patterns. So her pattern is, for most of us, validation or distract, or so I'm not really failing because I'm giving myself permission by validating. I'm not really trying, or that it's okay because of this. So 98% of people, Kirsten, stop after just 2 to 3 tries. 98%. No wonder we have the results that we do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. And when we get to see all these validations we give ourselves and the reasons why we think, and like one of my clients, for instance, she adores her mother, and her mother has sacrificed for their big family, 7 kids, I think it is, has always sacrificed for everybody else, has always put everybody else before her. And therefore, my client believes sacrifice equals love. If I sacrifice, if I solve for everybody else, I've solved their pains, and she's the fixer, she calls herself the fixer, then if I put everybody else before me, I will be adored. And when she can't fix other things, other people's problems, then she feels crap. You know, she second guesses herself, she's unhappy, and because she's taking all her happiness from solving other people's problems, because she gets to sacrifice herself and then she can be adored. It's so fascinating that how we grow up, you know, our frame of reference from such a small time, like your client who peed on the floor when she was 2, shape everything we view as an adult right now. Like, it's crazy. And if we can push through that bullshit, unlock that, and see why we think that way, and then test all our resistances, then we can create a radical life. And so for you, like, tell us about, because your radical life's fucking radical. Like, it's awesome. Yeah. Awesomeness. So, like, what's radical life for you? Like,
I think that's at least 25.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us about radical life for yourself, what that is.
Okay, so, well, first 2 things I want to tap on that you said. One, I want people to hear that there's a massive gap in saying, oh, when I'm looking for validation outside myself. So what the gap is with your friend is that she doesn't love herself, right? There's no self-love, because if self-love says, if you're heroing persona, there's a victim triangle, or there's a drama triangle, either being a victim, a villain, or a hero. And heroes will always attract victims to take care of, to try to make themselves feel good and worthy. And heroes, so heroes always attract victims, victims always attract heroes, etc. Right? So when she has to show up for everybody else to try to get validation that she's good enough, but guess why? It'll never work. It's not coming from inside her. Yep. If no one else is there to give me love and validation, guess what? I know I fucking love myself. I know I'm awesome, and I am the source of my own experience. So if I ever recognize I want love, ooh, how do I get to give it to myself? And then guess what? Because I'm giving myself love, I'm saying to the universe, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I get to have this, and I only attract the very best, like having the most badass clients and having the most amazing friends and family in my space. So I just felt like that got to be heard, breaking that down, that what you're really doing is you're saying, I'm so desperate to have love from you. I'll do anything to show up for everybody else and lose myself in the mix and settle and sacrifice. And guess what? Then you teach your same kids the same patterns. And you enable these people. So if I try to save Kirsten and not let her invest in herself because she's worthy, and it also not be a value exchange that I'm worthy of the time and the effort and the energy, and also be able to invest in herself to make that commitment for herself, I would be screwing her over. I would be fucking you over, Kirsten. I'd literally be like, I don't do this. I don't. So I'm going to try to ensure that I save you because I'm really scared for myself that I'm not good enough. And I prove to me that I'm okay. Enable you and say, fuck you. I don't care about you living and I don't care about myself. That's the true message that's going out.
Yeah.
How's that working for her? Not very well, right? But yet it's okay because it's her perfect process. Totally fine. So that's definitely something that I was like, I got to go off on that for a second.
No,
Secondly,
I love it.
okay, you said one thing. You said if we can push through our bullshit, and this is where you came from in the past, I don't know that that's still there for you. Where you came from in the past, Kirsten, was life is a fight. It's settle. It's sacrifice, right? It's push. It's hard because you always had to show up and make it happen. This is why you're so passionate now about teaching the radical life because you're like, fight and battle and hard. That it was a fight to like, you know, so, and yet you've created from that. What came out of that? What came out of that is you being the radical life mentor shifted into, it's been so few months with you in the 90.
Yeah.
The mind body breakthrough program. And now there's like this whole journey we get to still do with you going to Goddess, etc. And yet you've made massive shifts and your true passion came out of you and you became the radical life mentor because now you live a radical life with ease, like happy, peaceful flow, awesome relationships, kicking ass. But that's because you dropped the battle and the fight. So something that I feel coming through, I want to tell people is pain is part of your process. Pain is just a part of life. It's like we're trying to convince ourselves, Sarah, where there's no pain. I don't want to be there. Pain is a gift for me because every single time I feel an emotion that is painful, I go, ooh, why? What's going on? And it's a perfect gift to feed her. Why the fuck would I ever want to run from pain? Pain is my greatest gift to allow me to expand to the greatest version of myself, to experience more awesomeness every day. So when you attach, settle, or sacrifice to it, that's a choice. Pain is actually amazing. And thriving is a choice, just like settling is a choice. Okay, squirrel, what was the question?
I love that. But just to finish on that, though, look, I didn't let myself feel pain. Like, hang on, we just need to do a dance because, you know, we're going off on all chasing squirrels everywhere.
It's perfect. Whatever gets to come through.
Exactly, that's right. So with pain, it's like I didn't let myself feel pain for a long, long time. And people would have said, would say I was outgoing and I was happy and joyful and that sort of stuff. But the feelings came to there. The feelings didn't go deep. I didn't feel joy and happiness at my core. And that's because I wasn't letting myself feel pain because we've had so much stuff go on in our life and we sort of, you know, haven't grown up expressing our emotions and so forth. So basically I had a whole part of my body shut off. And by tapping into both that pain to be able to process where that pain's coming from and to understand I was fucking resentful to autism, you know, I was angry
totally.
And didn't realize how angry I was. I was angry that I felt like I was the centerpiece of the family. And if I fell over, the family fell over. And I didn't realize any of that because I wasn't allowing myself feel anything. I was shutting that part off. So it's going, it's processing crazily in my body and coming out in all these different ways. But I wasn't looking at what was the root cause of things. When I looked at that and really processed that and looked at why that was there and understood I've got a complete choice in how I live my life, how I manage the kids, how I run my business, the investment I put of myself in everything, then it was like this massive weight lifted off my shoulders. And it's when I started to feel true joy again and my true power and understand my ability to influence so many people. And that's, you know, that tapping into that pain is so powerful. And a lot of us don't go there and won't ask for help. And fucking it's awesome when you do. It is so awesome.
Well, what's cool is it is the greatest gift. So this is what's interesting. Perceptions and thoughts stop people from ever moving forward. So people are even going to go into my Mindy program or my Mindy, my mind body breakthrough program. And they're like, all of a sudden they have all this fear and resistance come up and you look at their thought and they're like, I'm afraid, you know, I don't know how it's going to look, or I don't know if I'm going to be successful. And I'm afraid to look at my shit. And I'm like, really? Guess what? This is the truth. The moment we look at our shit, the moment I look at all the thing that's creating the war inside me and I lean into it and I walk through it, it's done and it's gone and I'm in freedom. So actually, as we get to look at this every day, every single day just gets happier, greater, and more amazing. I get happier and healthier every day. Do you want happier and healthier every day? Yeah.
Hell
so
yeah.
then why the fuck would we write it in? Yeah. Hell yeah, girl. Right. So it's a perception shift that we get to get clear on why those things come up that even break us down to that place. And honestly, Kirsten, I just want to honor you. Like, you have come so far. I remember one or two of our first calls and being that you were so shut down from feeling emotion because you're just like, I just go through the motions. And then, and that was a way to stay safe. Not feeling your thought. If I feel my feelings, fuck, I'm going to be fucked because I can't feel and do what I'm doing because it just felt like too much pain. So it's easier to just shut it out. And yet, so in that energy, let's go back to what Einstein said, in that energy that you're vibrating, I'm not good enough, I come last, I have to do this is how life looks. You kept creating, feeling, and experiencing shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And now just allowing yourself to do that, such a massive, so like, love you, girl. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. It's you know, my life has turned upside down in the space of 3.5 months, completely turned upside down as I really look deep inside myself. And to know that you are capable of so much more than you ever thought, and that there's so much more power in you, whatever that is. You know, yeah, I'm outrageous, got purple hair and love to talk and stuff, but whatever your power is, you know, it's like tapping into your, whether it's your true power as an awesome business person, awesome mother, awesome friend, you know, whatever you're creating, to know that you can be this extraordinary version of yourself that you never thought possible is so wonderful. To be able to look in the mirror and go, I fucking love you, Kirsten. You are doing awesome. You're a great mom. You're connected with your kids. That is so powerful. And a lot of you might go, oh, that's so narcissistic. It's fucking not narcissistic.
Let's look at it.
Yeah. So tell us about the mirror, because that's so powerful.
Okay. So first off, it comes from a perception. I remember when I was first really breaking through my belief systems and recognizing that if I found something I didn't like, and so if I did something that, you know, was a sabotage or in any way sabotaging what I wanted, and if I go, or fuck, or damn, or oh, I did it again, what am I doing? I'm literally putting effort and focus towards the shit that I hate, which means then I'm vibrating that energy, which means my mind sees that, my words are speaking, I'm focused on it. I just ask for more shit. So one of the words I created to utilize, and you'll hear me every time, like I'm on a mastermind call with my clients and they tell me their shit, I'm like, awesome. Like obviously awesome gets used a lot, or interesting.
Interesting.
But one of the first ones I started to use was actually like, it's perfect. So, and I recognize this come up because this came up for me as like, even like as a past perfectionist identity that had to show up a certain way to be loved. It was like afraid of rejection or judgment or whatever, that I'd have something show up and I'd like, oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. Because I'd see it as, my belief is everything that you're experiencing is perfect because you're doing it perfectly. Now, if I'm in a moment where I'm being a bitch mom, I'm doing it perfectly. If I'm in my shit, I'm doing it perfectly, right? No matter whatever experience I'm in, I'm doing it perfectly. So when I took away the attachment that it was bad or wrong, and I just was like, you know, I'd say interesting, or I'm like, it's perfect. I noticed how people started to respond. Kirsten had like, perfect. You think you're perfect? I'd like be like, it's perfect. I'm perfect. Reminding myself I'm perfectly in this experience. I'm perfectly being me. I'm perfectly in my growth process, because there is no such thing as, I mean, perfect is right now. People say it's not about, you know, perfection, it's progression. Yeah, you're progressing, but you're already perfect because you're perfectly you in your experience. So when I'd say that, people would go, you think you're perfect? And that's when I started to catch that perception, be like, okay, interesting how even what it brought up for me, like, oh, I don't, so we go, oh, we don't want to say this because the world is like, that's so egotistical. That's so what if you knew? What if you absolutely knew? I am fucking perfect. I am perfectly me. I love who I am. I know I'm a divine daughter of God. And guess what? You are fucking perfect. You are a divine son or daughter of God. You're a limitless being, or, you know, you can call it higher self. You can call it yourself, your source, whatever you want to call it. You are already perfectly being you. Okay. You're a divine, unique individual. So it's not about hey, I'm awesome, I'm so awesome, and I'm more awesome than anybody else. When you're truly conscious, you know it would be crazy to think anything other than you're awesome and everyone else is too.
Yeah.
The difference is so there's no better or less than, because relationships only happen between equals. If you ever think you're better or less than, it's an entanglement, not a relationship. And so instead, what you get to realize is there's only a certain amount of us that choose to step up in that greatness, that choose to share your gifts. So if you step up in your greatness, Kirsten, you're like, I'm awesome, I love life, I live a radical life, and you're talking to yourself in the mirror, which I'll get back to. I promise I'll bring it back around. You're doing that. Then someone else is like, oh, that's so wrong, that's so egotistical or selfish, or that's so, I'm like, oh, I can understand that perception from what they're believing, what they're choosing. And guess what? I honor that that's the space that they're in. I'm just a mirror for them, meaning anything that you see outside yourself is because of what's going on inside you. So if you spot it somewhere, you got it. So if someone says, that's so egotistical and wrong and bad and blah, 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 looking within, it's like, because maybe they're afraid to stand up and be seen, because then they're afraid they're going to be judged. So it's easier to judge and validate that that's wrong looking at you than it is for me to just say, I give myself permission to stand. And something around that is that I want people to hear is that we all deserve it, because we are all uniquely awesome. We're all divine gifts. But you don't get what you deserve. You get what you're committed to. And what your results are showing up in your life right now is what you're committed to. So if you're committed to, Kirsten, the belief system that we're talking about most people live in, which is like 1 or 2 areas of life could be good or great maybe, but the others, they have to be a settle and a sacrifice. That's what you're committed to. So if you're committed, if your relationships suck, that's what you're committed to. If your body is out of alignment and you're fat and frustrated and tired and overwhelmed and have no energy to play with your kids, that's what you're committed to. If you're barely surviving in your finances, that's what you're committed to. And it all comes down to what you're choosing to believe, how you respond to life, what you experience. So let's bring it back to the mirror. The reason why this is such a powerful exercise, which Kirsten has done, is we never take the time to actually like talk to ourselves or talk to our root selves or get clear on like giving ourselves that love and that feedback. Because think about it, from the time we're little, we just learn what Kirsten had pointed out, which is like, oh, that's narcissistic and that's not cool. And so we get told, don't talk great about yourself. How sad is it in our society that we're told and we're telling our little kids, don't walk around and talk about how awesome you are and how great life is, because then people might feel threatened. They might feel like, they might feel bad that they don't have the same greatness. So instead, pull yourself down, dumb yourself down, hold yourself back, pull back your feelings of awesomeness, and just walk around and go through the motions with everybody else who likes to suffer in the 99% of the population that goes through the motions, right? So talking to yourself in the mirror, it's interesting what comes up for people. So one of the exercises that Kirsten's talking about is just looking yourself in the eyes. And my little boys do this every morning and every night. And it's amazing and it's amazing what will shift for inside your beliefs when you just look yourself in the eye in a mirror. You can do this in a little travel mirror, in your rear view mirror as you're driving. You can do it on your phone and look at yourself. So it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to go sit down in front of a big mirror, but you simply say, I love and approve of my, so I always say, I love you, Marci. I love you, Marci. And I say it with feeling. I love and approve of myself just as I am now. I'm perfect, whole, and complete just as I am now. Those are the 3 main things that we always say. Then with my little boys, they always just go into what's great about them. So they actually get to say what's great about them. I'm so awesome at this, and I'm such a great drawer, and like all the things that they say. It's just hilarious, actually. And then they even set out their intentions. Like at nighttime when they do it, they set out their intentions for the next day. And tomorrow I'm creating this. And in the morning they say, this morning I heard Gavin doing his in the mirror, and he's like, and I run so fast at recess, and, and I have the best friends, right? So, but with adults, you see what's interesting when they do this, all of a sudden they're like, they can't look themselves in the eyes. They start to bawl because your whole life you've been telling yourself some bullshit thing from inside you that I'm not really good enough, and it's completely opposite. So it feels completely out of alignment and untrue for you. What we get to do is shift that so that is your truth.
Absolutely. I just love those insights. And, today's radical life journey has really been about what's happening up in here, not how we're living. And that is so powerful. And for everybody on this who's watching this episode, take away some of these chunks of life can be radical across all aspects. You can love yourself completely. You can have a rocking body of health, which is Marci's words. You can have awesome relationships. I'm going to say lock it down soon, which is also Marci's locking it down.
We're locking down the truth with Marci Lock. Yeah,
exactly. And then you get to do the Radical Life Mentor. So like life can be awesome, but you get to allow yourself to dive into those feelings, explore why you're settling and sacrificing in some of your realms of your life, and, you know, really look at where's all your beliefs coming from and why do you think you can't have this radical life across all parts of your life. So, Marci, today has been absolutely friggin' extraordinary. The insights and, you know, the examples and so forth, just wonderful. So many people are going to be going, oh my God, I need to work with this chick. So how would they get hold of you?
Well, I was laughing with Kirsten before because I was like, yeah, I don't even know the application link because we have so many things that we're launching and doing, between my clothing line to my new stuff. So we're going to revert back to what's on the screen, which is mindbody90.com, knowing that it'll forward to wherever you get to go. But yeah, we definitely, working with me is an interview process because I'm very selective about my space and my energy and the people that I know, like, they're like ready for pure, awesome badassery in every aspect. So being afraid is normal, but we'll walk through anyone through the gates of hell if they're open to feedback and growth and being, you know, but if you know, so we're very selective. So mindbody90.com is probably the best, and following me on Facebook. Obviously, I'll do like tips and posts and stuff every single day. Oh, there's my app, Marci. I have an app that's free on iTunes, or I have a whole app you could get. It's free on iTunes. Yeah, and so marcilocapp.com, or on iTunes you can get it for free, and that has tons of like some, you know, everything from recipes to workouts to all my TV shows, my radio shows, breakthrough stuff. So, and if you message me on Facebook, I can easily connect you to one of the head of my team that, you know, and get you some stuff to start looking at the internal blocks to see if it's a fit, because we just desire it to always be a fit. So there's lots of, I'm sure in one of those ways, one of those will work.
There's a million ways. That is so cool. Thank you so much. Like, I love you and adore you, and you're one of the most generous, caring, badass, see, I said ass instead of arse, like the Australian way, people I know. And I'm so proud and cherish being around your space. So thank you so much, love. I love it.
Well, I love and adore you. And I'm just your mirror.
There you go. And if you want to check me out, KirstenRoberts.com for your business mind breakthroughs. So, you know, if you want to create that rocking leveraged business that capitalizes on your true genius that's inside you and get rid of all that shit in your head, just like the journey I've gone through, then go to KirstenRoberts.com and register for your videos.
Wait, Kirsten. Oh, I was going to say, let me share, guys. She's amazing at this. Like, I've seen a lot of people that have gone through my program that their internal stuff is so blocked. Once they find themselves to know what they want to do, the genius to go, oh, let me show you how to implement. I mean, Kirsten's genius at that. So I just have to say, for all the people that I know that you've worked with and what's been able to shift for them to implement and put those things into how-tos to create that manifestation, it's fucking phenomenal, babes. You're definitely gifted.
Cheers, and I look forward to seeing you next time on KRAD TV, because this is awesome getting to hear all those people's good, you know, brilliant journeys. And we need to wrap it up with a bit of an awesome dance. You ready? Awesomeness.
An awesome dance? Can I strip?
Yeah, go. People would love to see your body.
Always wearing a bikini.
I'm not doing that. Bye, everybody.
I'm always wearing a bikini top. Love you.
I love you.